All right, this is your host, David Schminsky. This is the Daily Strike Podcast. I have a special guest with me today, XIV William. How we doing?
I'm doing amazing. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. Did I say that right, XIV William?
You did.
Just making sure. This man just came back from taking down an ox with his Vikings.
True story.
We're going to have some ox afterwards. I'm pretty excited about it. What weapon did you use?
My bare hands.
Bare hands. Yeah. This man is an animal. This man is a beast. His training is absolutely incredible. He has a fight coming up against Alexander. Is it Keka?
I believe so.
Alexander Keka. And this man is incredible, man. We actually covered this gentleman quite a few times. We actually did a live stream with him at this last fight promotion. I've been wanting to get this guy in here, so I'm happy to have him in here. So let's talk a little bit about yourself, William. What made you get into fighting? I mean, not everyone just wakes up and it's like, hey, I want to fight. So what made you really get into the sport?
Being a young kid and the only child, I had a lot of time to myself. So I'd be outdoors or I'd be watching movies. And a lot of my favorite movies were like Rush Hour with Jackie Chan.
That's Chris Rock too?
Yeah, Chris Rock.
That's the deal.
Teenage Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
Pirates of the Caribbean. And I just loved combat. And I remember watching my dad. He was on the podcast before as well.
Yep.
So he had some old wrestling tapes, okay, from high school. And I remember watching them all the time because he would put them on once in a while. And like, I didn't know really what was going on. I actually thought wrestling was jiu-jitsu. It just put a fire into me that made me just want to mess people up. You know, like when you're young, what do you do with your best friends? What always happens?
You fight around, you play sports, you tackle each other. I mean, that's what I did.
Right? Yeah. So, I mean, it's always been in my blood. That's the only thing I really see myself doing. It's what a true man does, how he expresses himself.
Yeah, just like how women like to dance. Mm-hmm. I mean, some men like to dance too.
I love to dance.
Yeah, dancing's cool, but I mean, for you, it's combat sports.
And just human movement in general.
Human movement. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. I mean, I did a little bit of wrestling in high school, man. And at first, my middle school, 6th grade, my stepdad's like, you're going to wrestle because my family, that's what we'd wrestled. And I guess his dad was like in the Olympics for wrestling and stuff like that. And I was like, dude, I don't want to do this shit, man. Like, I was more about football and stuff like that. But then I did it and I kind of fell in love with it. So from like 6th grade until about 11th grade, I wrestled, and it was just an incredible experience, man. I hurt a lot of people. I got hurt a couple times, but I just stopped doing it. I guess my interest kind of faded away. I never expanded. I didn't try like MMA or boxing or jiu-jitsu. I just did like the basic high school wrestling, I guess. But I had a couple buddies, man, that went to States and they just kicked ass, dude. And it was just fun to watch other people get beat up. Like, that's how I look at it now. I just like watching people get beat up. I guess it's more of like entertainment for me. But what makes me appreciate it though is like the training process. And I mean, I follow you on Instagram, which, you know, we'll shout out your Instagram towards the end. Your training you training, like, it doesn't look like any joke, dude. Like, you look like you're really in it to win it. This is what I'm doing. So like, what goes into that process? I mean, what do you do to get your mind right?
I do a lot of visualization, praying, meditation, and I just focus all my energy into my craft. That's all. That's pretty much it. It's simple. It's not the grind. Everyone has this grind mentality. Oh, I need to go to the gym. I need to do this. But once you put that need onto yourself, that pressure, you know, pressure creates diamonds in certain situations. But if you have your whole life to train and your whole life to practice the martial art, it's an art. Art is beautiful. Art is creative. So I allow my life to unfold. Some days I'll go to the gym and I'll train like 3 to 4 times MMA, jiu-jitsu, lifting. Other days, like yesterday, I felt the need not to lift weights because I would listen to my body and I woke up. And I felt the need to break my fast and eat immediately right when I woke up. So I was immediately in tune with my body. And I ate the amount of calories. I ate pizza, like a supreme pizza, and I ate throughout the whole day. And I only had one practice, and that was with some wrestling buddies from my school. And I'm still on weight. So, you know, like I in-tune myself. It's an effortlessness. I don't believe in the grind. The grind is going to grind you all the way out. You're going to lose all your energy. I think there's a hardness to training, but then there's always that time for softness. Because softness is where you learn the most about yourself, I feel.
That's interesting. That's an interesting look on it. I mean, you look at it as if you look at it the most simple way possible, because if you make it anything bigger than it needs to be, you're going to exert all that energy that you could have saved doing something else. And what was all on that pizza? You said supreme, so you had like peppers, sausage, bacon, ham, the whole smorgasbord?
Hey, my mom put a pizza on me and I was like, yeah, I'm breaking.
Oh, she made homemade pizza?
No. It was like a frozen pizza.
Those are still good.
Those are fire.
Dude, I eat those at home all the time, bro.
Yeah?
Those are fire. Yeah. If you don't have like those brick ovens making pizzas, I don't think it's like, there's no need to like try to make one yourself. You know what I mean? That's what's up, man. That is what's up. Now, do you have like a favorite strike or submission you like to go towards at all, or you trying to keep that confidential? Don't want to talk about that?
It's not confidential. I love every single thing about martial arts. I love every single thing about the human movement and the human body and the human anatomy. Like, it interests me, and I'm obsessed with it in a healthy way. So my favorite thing is to choke somebody out, and that's just because, in any kind of way, mostly take their back, because when I take someone down, that's using wrestling. Then when I transition to their back, that's using wrestling and jiu-jitsu. When I take their back and I have like underhooks or anything, and then I choke them out, that's just pure beauty. So I really like submission, like submitting somebody from the back.
Interesting.
But anything goes, and that's the freedom of movement.
I like the way you approach it. Like, you look at it as like such like an art, like it's like a huge creative platform for you. I think it's very interesting, and it kind of makes me think of the sport itself in a different way. I think it's more than just watching people get their ass beat. Like, there's a lot behind that process to beating someone's ass.
Yeah.
Like the Wilder fight that just happened this past weekend, there was probably a lot behind the process, because he knocked him out the first round. Very quick fight. I'm sure people were happy and disappointed. I thought it was kind of funny, and I knew it was going to happen. But like, there's more behind that 30-40 seconds that we use in the ring. Like, there was a lot of training behind it, and creative process and thinking behind it. So that's an interesting way to look at it. Now, what does it mean for you to be a fighter? Like, to you inside, what does it mean?
Being a fighter is allowing stress to unfold onto you, allowing that suffering of even everyday life on your path, but looking at that suffering as something that you can, instead of letting all this suffering go onto you and you break down and you learn from that breakdown, and then you eventually break through and you conquer that suffering. So that's what I feel being a fighter is, and just being an artist when I'm in the cage. And that's all.
Interesting. And I like the word you use, suffering.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's important to embrace the suffering, same way you embrace like the positives? Because I just had this conversation, and in my personal opinion, I feel like the same way you celebrate your wins, you should also celebrate your losses at the same time, because that is a learning experience. You will learn something, and you should cherish those hard moments. Because some people, when something bad happens, are like, oh my God, something bad happens, and they'll just kind of like let it drift away. Whereas for me, I embrace those moments, and I sit and I'm not gonna say I don't dwell on it, but I try to focus in on what went wrong and what I could do to improve next time. So is that way you kind of look at suffering itself?
I look at suffering as emotional and physical. So sometimes you might not want to be in the gym, or you need to do an extra rep. That's suffering for that moment on the physical body. Going in a hot sauna for an hour, cutting weights, that's suffering on the body. But the thing is, how calm can you be in that suffering?
Mental state.
How can you look at the situation in something different? Like, it's a funny story. So I like prayer, okay? And I believe in source, I believe in God. So I asked God for the discipline to do something I wanted to do. Now, I was walking out of the store, and I had a bottle of apple cider vinegar, and that's what I take for my health, right? So apple cider vinegar in my bag, and a lady looked up at me, and it was going against the discipline that I was asking. And you know, when you see somebody look in your eyes, you can kind of tell their intentions, especially if you're in tune with, you know, human movement and
right,
and body language. And I noticed something, and then I had a false pride that made me want to look at her again to get that little smile and that glance. And right when I was about to do it, boom, my bottle shatters everywhere, and I was forced to pick it up and humble myself. So I feel that's a type of suffering as well. But that's like a faith kind of suffering. Right.
Interesting, man. Interesting. And you're a firm believer in God?
Yeah.
I am the same way, man. Firm believer. I believe everything happens for a reason.
Oh, facts.
And I feel like, you know, it's good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Now, you have an upcoming fight against Alexander Keka. Have you watched any footage on him at all? Have you looked into his game at all? Do you know what you're kind of getting yourself into?
There's no opponent. There's a body type, and then there's an obstacle that I can grow through.
True.
There's no opponent.
Very true.
Just me.
Do you think that separates you from all the other fighters?
I think the ability to see things in a different way separates me from all other fighters.
That's good.
I think I cherish, and I am truly grateful for everything I have. The ability to see, the ability to hear, the ability to move. And I practice certain things that I feel others neglect. Not just in the ring, but throughout my daily life. And I feel that's what makes me into a complete warrior.
Interesting, because it's more than like we kind of said, it's more mental rather than physical. Well, I mean, it's physical too, but I mean, if your physical game's on point, your mental game's not on point, there's a disconnect where I feel like you're not going to be all in a fight, which is, I mean, that's just my personal view on it. Other than that, I mean, what else do you think separates you from every other fighter? I mean, you have a different approach to the fighting game itself. Is there anything else other than that? I mean, is it just plain and simple, just the mental approach to the fighting, or?
Physically, I feel I'm the complete definition of health and fitness. I think I do all the right things. And I don't just think this, but everything, it's proven. Everything works out for me pretty much exactly how I want it to be. And if it doesn't work out exactly, like if it doesn't work out exactly how I want it or picture it, it always eventually comes around to how I wanted it or something even better.
Right.
So
interesting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to look at it. Now, do you like try to manifest these thoughts and ideas into real life?
I manifest all the time.
All the time?
All the time.
I talked to a couple individuals that, do you believe in like the law of attraction?
Completely.
There's some people that don't believe in it.
I believe it completely.
And I get where they come from. They're like, you can't just say like, oh, I want to have a peak physique, right? And then you wake up and you have it. I'm like, well, it's deeper than that. The law of attraction, in order for it to work, you actually have to put in the work to make it happen. You know what I mean? When you manifest these ideas and these thoughts, when you're putting in the work, whether you realize it or not, subconsciously or consciously, it's going to happen. But people like don't believe that. They're like, no, the law of attraction's fake. Like, it's not a real thing.
I don't try to push my beliefs on anybody else.
Right.
If you don't want the secret to life, then that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll use it for myself. The only people that can be inspired by what we do, and by we, I mean us as a collective, or anybody who's coming out of that suffering and conquering the world in some kind of successful way, there's going to be haters and there's going to be disbelievers. And then there's going to be the ones that are inspired by our actions. So if they don't want to believe it, that's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Stay behind. We're going to keep pushing.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting way to look at it, man. Now, is there anything you do on your off time to kind of get your mind off fighting? Kind of like that woo-saw?
My mind is always on fighting in some form, because I feel fighting is more than just the physical fighting. But what do I really love doing? I love being outdoors. I love climbing trees. I love mountain biking, doing anything in nature, anything physical. I'm pulled to do physical activity. That's where I get my energy from. That's why I go to the gym multiple times. It's not because, oh, I want to grind and I feel I have to work harder than the other person. I actually don't have to work harder than you. I don't. I feel like I really don't. And it will happen no matter what.
So it's like more, you look at it more like it's fun to you rather than like a punishment.
It's playing.
Yeah.
I'm playing. I'm trying to play like a child. I'm curious and infatuated with movement. So if that means I go climb a tree one day, if that means I'm playing basketball, skateboarding, doing jiu-jitsu, MMA, anything. As long as I'm just dancing and moving, I'm having fun, man.
That's good to hear, man. I like your mindset and all this too. That's pretty interesting, because some people might look at like training for a fight as like it's gruesome, it's hard, it's, you know, it's, I wouldn't say it's miserable, but you know what I mean? Like it's just like it's the grind, like the way you worded it. But to you, it's a fucking playground. It is. It's like where you get to go play kickball with your friends and laugh, and you would do whatever you want to do. Like that's an incredible way to look at it. And I kind of wish I looked at certain things that way. Because sometimes I look at like going to work like, oh, I gotta go to fucking work. But I should look at it like, you know what, man, I'm going to grind, make some money, and have a good time. Try to enjoy it, you know. So I like your mindset on that, man. I feel like that's something that a lot of people can take from this and maybe apply it to themselves. But then we might have a bunch of yous running around, and then you know, if there's more me's running around, that's probably a good thing. But at the same time, who knows, man? Because I'm cocky as well, so it's like maybe there's too many cocky people running around. Yeah, right? True. And what'd you say because we had you on the first round promotion podcast, and you were like, I'm pretty too. Like it was funny. No, I said I'm like my father but prettier. Yeah. Funny ass comment, man. That's what's up, dude. Now, is there anyone in your camp that like pushes you real hard or stays on you at all times? Would it be your dad, or is there anyone else that's like in your corner that's really keeping your head straight? Myself, and then my dad. Yeah. So word. Yeah, I feel isolation is key to success in certain ways, in certain time periods in your life. So if that means I'm isolated in the gym with my team and we're grinding, and by grinding I mean having fun and playing, then that's what it is. If it's me in my garage, like I put mats down in my garage, and the garage is where I started. That's where I started my body building and building up my physique, in that garage. Those are dope ass shots too on Instagram. Have you seen them? Yeah, like honestly, just looking at those pictures, dude, like it just like you said, that's where you started. I feel like there's like a huge, what's the word, like motivation just being in there, because like this is where I started and then look how far I've come. You know, like it's always good to kind of go back to where you started.
And Jordan Watson photography, he took those pictures.
Word.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out.
But yeah, man, I used to sit in there, and I had weights that went up to 50 pounds, and I used to just pump iron and like, you know, shadow wrestle, and have my little friend, one of my friends, come over, and there was like it was the mat that we have now, but less room, so we'd have to wrestle and try to stay in one spot. It was just so fun, man, because I used to look into this little mirror and visualize what I wanted my muscles to look like, and then less than 6 months later I got where I wanted to be, and then I left that gym and kept, you know, pursuing what I wanted. So
right,
it's very cool. That's why I believe in the law of attraction, manifestation to the fullest.
To the fullest.
I am the definition of manifestation.
Interesting. That's a deep statement, but I mean, I believe it, man. Just watching you train and seeing I mean, I haven't personally seen your process, but just seeing it from afar, I could see you on the big screen kicking people's asses and smiling afterwards, like, this is fun. Like,
it is.
It's not as hard as people try to put it out to be. Do you think people should look at situations in life the same way you approach fighting, in a sense? Because you look at it, and from what I'm understanding, is at a very calm, collective stance. Do you feel like in life people should have that approach to like any situation?
You should understand your emotions, and you should feel your body, and feel love, feel pain, feel pleasure, but you should not let that consume you or overwhelm you in any type of way. All the best fighters, if you go Conor McGregor, or even like deeper down into like where martial arts started, almost with like Bruce Lee, they all talk about the same things. They flow like water. If you have emotion, you're going to overreact. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what happened with Conor McGregor and Jose. Conor McGregor was flowing. He was there. He was having fun. He was smiling. He was dancing in a way. All Aldo was just so tense. And and that's just not the way to look at it. You're not supposed to be emotional in the cage or in life. You're supposed to understand these things, but don't let them consume you.
That is a very interesting approach, and I can personally relate to that as well too. Because even though I think now I look at work like, oh, I fucking hate my job, but like there's a time where like I loved what I did at a place I used to work at, and I used to just go in there in the happiest mood. Like I didn't care if I had the worst day possible, I didn't make enough money, or I dealt with all these other people's problems, but I just kept a smile on my face. I'm like, because this is my playground. The way you look at it, like, this is my playground. I'm not gonna let this place consume me. I'm gonna consume it. It's kind of a way to look at it, I guess. So I can kind of relate to that. That's a good approach, and I feel like if people took that approach, maybe they'd be less stressed out about dumb stuff, you know? Because today, you look on social media, people are stressed about the wrong things, about who's the president and what's this and this going on, and who will they have this and I don't. That stuff's wild to me.
Those things don't affect me.
Not at all.
No.
That's interesting, man. That's interesting. Now, what keeps you hungry? Literally.
Fasting. Fasting keeps me hungry.
But like of course fasting, but like on your end all goal, right? Your end all goal, what keeps you pushing to that moment? Like, do you ever have those times you're like, damn, man, I don't know if this is what I want to do? Do you ever like have those doubts?
I believe that the human experience is just like the earth, which there's different seasons. Okay. Right. So in summer, you're giddy, you're excited, and you're ready to take on the world, and you're more social. Then when the fall comes, you start to like maybe question things more. When the winter comes, oh my God, everyone's depressed. Everyone's sad. We don't know what to do. It's almost like chaos in a way, right? Then when spring comes back around, it's like, oh my God, I see the light. God is coming out and he's trying to touch me and he's telling me there's hope. So I feel that's exactly how the human experience is. What really drives me is that I'm going to take care of every single person in my family, my mother, my father, my future family. I think about my future family all the time. Where do I want to be when I'm 30? Where do I want to be when I'm 35? I'm 21 right now. I'm young. But the thing is, my life is in a place where I am everything I want to be, and I have everything I need to be successful and to be where I want to be. I just want to set my family up. Let them put their feet up. Let them have fun, and let them actually fully have fun in a physical realm, but so they can eventually go inwards, you know?
Interesting. That's a good approach, man. I used to tell my mom all the time when I was younger, man. I was like, I'm gonna put you in a house. I'm gonna put your feet up. I'm gonna put my sisters through college, and I still have that mental mindset. But it's just good to hear another person have that same mindset, because naturally, as humans, we're so selfish, right? If we think about ourselves first. But you have that mindset, you know what, I'm going to take care of my whole entire family. It's not just me, it's about them too. That's a good mindset to have, man. I think that's awesome. Now, you're on social media. Now, do you try to push your content of you training and stuff on social media as much as possible? Because I feel like today with social media and how much it's growing, I see a lot of people that are in the same field, you know, putting videos of their training up, putting videos of, you know, whatever they're doing. Do you feel the need to do that?
I express myself through social media, and we could really get deep into this, but I'm just going to go over it real quick. I've been in places where I've had other social media accounts that were very well known, okay? And I've seen how my reaction and to wanting kind of to verify something to myself through likes and comments affected me emotionally, and then eventually went into the physical realm. So right now I'm just having fun with my social media. Like I kind of sometimes take it seriously, and I'll archive a couple of pictures or a couple of posts, and then I'll be like, why am I doing this? Am I trying to make myself look like something I'm not? And that's not what I want to do. I want to be completely genuine, completely 100. If you like it, come this way. If you don't, go that way. So I post exactly what I want, when I want, no matter what. You know?
Yeah. That's
like those pictures I just posted.
Yeah, badass pictures, by the way. Throw your Instagram handle out real quick. What is your
XIV William?
Plain and simple. XIV William. Some good ass pictures on there, man.
Yeah.
I put it on our story too. I don't know if you saw. I tagged it in the stories. I thought that was a badass picture.
Thank you.
But that's good, man. Yeah, that's. I used to be so caught up into social media and like let it affect me emotionally and physically, and the way you're putting it, and I got rid of it for a while, and then I hopped back onto it, and I realized, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna put out what I want to put out. I'm gonna have fun doing it. If you don't like it, okay, cool, go do your thing. But if you like it, come on this side, like you said. Like, that's a good approach to have, because you look at it today. I know you said you didn't want to get too deep into it, but people just get so hurt and offended by little things they see on their phone screen. Like, dude, is it really going to affect you at the end of the day? Like, are you still breathing? Are you okay? You have a roof over your head? It doesn't matter what fucking Sally thinks or Joe Bob thinks. Like, who cares? That's a kind of approach to have too.
I feel like you have to give yourself, if you look at people's phones, especially iPhones, and you look at your screen time, you have to be like, wow, what are you doing for that long? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of times my screen time is YouTube videos, podcasts, things that are going to benefit my life. But I also do sometimes slip up, and I'm like on people's feeds too long, and that's not something I want to do.
Just watching goofy ass videos on Facebook.
And I feel like that will really distract you. You can't, anywhere you put your focus, and we talked about law of attraction, manifestation, you're going to see more of those things. So the more goofy stuff, the more ignorant stuff you watch, the more of that comes into your life. So all I'm watching is training videos, a motivational quote, something that's going to like mentally put some kind of beneficial stress on my life, and that's what I like.
Something that adds value to what you're already trying to do.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really good, because there's a lot of bullshit content out there that you will just catch yourself slipping, watching some dumbass stuff that is not relevant to anything you're trying to do. And you're like, damn, I just wasted the past 2 hours watching nothing. It's a waste of time. That's how I feel now, dude. I feel like I'm so busy, and I'm always trying to like catch up on editing or catch up on school or whatever I'm doing. And I'm like, when I have that downtime, I'm like, damn, like I could have been doing something that 30 minutes. It's like you get frustrated with yourself. It's like, damn it. Now, is there anything you wish people knew about you? Like anything that people are your fans or anyone that's interested in what you're doing, anything you wish that they knew?
You're gonna eventually find out everything, because everything is documented. Just wait within 5 years, and there will be movies of how I become and became what I will become. That's all. You
heard it here first. Have you said that anywhere before?
Huh?
Have you said that anywhere else before?
No.
Okay, you heard it here first. I just want to make sure. I don't want to take back that comment.
No, don't take it back.
Okay, for sure, man. Yeah. For sure. Now, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? Because you could do, I mean, it's free will, dude. You could do whatever you want. But you chose this path. Why?
I am inspired by human movement, and inspired to put my parents into a place where they can just chill. That's my why. And through fighting, that's like my favorite thing to do. It is my favorite thing to do. Without combat, without human movement, how am I going to express myself? Talking is cool, but I'm not huge on talking. I'm more huge on being and doing. I like going into the moment and deep into the moment. So when I go into a cage, I lose myself. And by losing myself, I become free.
Interesting. Interesting. So you're more actions.
More actions.
Understandable. And I love the why too. Like I could relate to you there, man. Like all I want to do is put my family up and make sure they don't have to work anymore.
This is how I see my life. This is the ocean, right?
Right.
Now there's people down here deep in the ocean that are dwelling on the past, that have regrets, have fears, anxieties. And I feel that my life was always on the surface area where I can see the light, I can feel the divine, but then I can look down and learn from the situations, okay? Learn from all the people. And sometimes they'll start bringing me down. And now I experience what they're going through, but then I always eventually get pulled back up, no matter what. I am grateful for every single thing that's ever happened to me. Every single thing that maybe was a lie, maybe was a truth, maybe I've seen something happen. I am grateful for all those experiences because I truly believe that created the person that I am today. And this person that I am today is like somebody that he's my best friend. This is my best friend. This is home. You know what I mean?
That's awesome to hear, man.
Yeah.
That's good. You feel so comfortable with yourself that you're happy with it. That's good. Mm-hmm. All right, William. Well, I just want to thank you for coming on the show today, taking the time out of your training schedule and stuff like that. I had a really good conversation with you. I hope you feel the same. If you want to just let the viewers know where they can find you on social media, I know you have a fight coming up on the 24th, you said, 2019, against Alexander Kake. I hope I'm saying his name right.
Who knows?
If he shows up, I'm going to call you. Like, hey, listen. Yeah, you got to go through him first. And Matt. Just messing, man. But yeah, let them know where they can find you on social media, where they can find you at the fight. Are there tickets being sold, anything like that, so they can support you?
You can DM me on Facebook, William J. Hill, for ticket information and the location. Same on Instagram, XIV William. And my Twitter handle is I am Be True, same as my Snapchat. I am Be True.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. I want to thank you guys for tuning into The Daily Strike. This is your host, David Sheminsky. I'll catch you guys next week.